For decades, people have been following health advice that promised results: lose weight, gain energy, prevent disease, but for millions, it just didn't work. You followed the diets, the supplements, the morning routines, and yet the scale barely budged, your energy dipped, and your health didn't improve the way it was supposed to. Why? Because much of the advice we've been given is based on trends, not on how the human body actually works. What if I told you that the reason so many people fail isn't a lack of willpower, but that the advice itself was flawed from the start? The story starts with something simple: calories in versus calories out. We've all heard it. Eat less, move more, and you'll lose weight. Seems logical, right? But here's the catch. Your body isn't a simple math equation. It's an adaptive system that responds to stress, nutrients, hormones, and even sleep patterns. When you drastically reduce calories, your metabolism slows down. Hormones like leptin, ghrelin, and cortisol shift in ways that make you hungrier, more tired, and less motivated to exercise. So the advice that seems so obvious actually works against you, trapping millions in a cycle of frustration. And it doesn't stop at diet, supplements, detox teas, and miracle pills promise to fix everything. But most of them were never tested in real-life conditions for real people. The companies selling them, Danti, talk about the subtle ways your body adapts or how long-term reliance can even backfire. Millions spent hundreds, sometimes thousands, chasing results that never came. Meanwhile, the body quietly learned to survive on less, hold on to fat, and conserve energy. It's survival mode, and it's the reason so many success stories are rare exceptions rather than the norm. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Even the advice you think is universally good, like cut out all fats or avoid carbs entirely, can actually sabotage health for many people. Healthy fats and complex carbs aren't the enemy. They are essential fuel for the brain, hormones, and energy. Strip them out, and the body interprets it as stress. Cortisol rises, metabolism slows, cravings spike. Suddenly, you're doing everything right by the book, but your body is fighting against you. So, if the old advice failed millions, what actually works? The first step is understanding that your body is not a one-size-fits-all machine. Every system, your metabolism, hormones, digestion, even your nervous system responds differently depending on genetics, lifestyle, and environment. That's why cookie-cutter advice almost always falls short. Take weight management as an example. Millions of people were told to eat fewer calories and hit the gym hard every day. But here's the science. When calorie intake drops drastically, your body triggers a survival response. Leptin, the hormone that signals fullness, drops. Ghrelin, the hunger hormone, rises. Cortisol, your stress hormone, spikes. Suddenly, every effort to eat less and move more is sabotaged by your own biology. You're exhausted, irritable, and your metabolism slows, sometimes permanently if repeated over years. That's why crash diets don't work long term. The body adapts, holding onto fat and energy like it's protecting you from famine. Now consider another area: supplements and miracle foods. Millions were convinced that taking the latest trendy powder, detox tea, or fat-burning capsule would solve everything. The problem: most of these products never went through rigorous testing in real-world conditions. They might show minor effects in small lab studies, but real human bodies are far more complex. Nutrient absorption depends on sleep, stress, gut health, and even the time of day. You can take all the vitamins in the world, but if your gut isn't absorbing them properly, or if your cortisol is high from chronic stress, the results will be minimal. And yet, millions keep buying into the hype, chasing results that never come. Sleep is another hidden culprit. Most health advice rarely emphasizes this, yet poor sleep alone can sabotage everything else. A lack of quality sleep disrupts insulin sensitivity, increases cortisol, and even lowers testosterone in men. It fuels cravings for sugar and processed foods, slows recovery from workouts, and diminishes energy levels. So someone could follow every perfect diet and exercise plan, but if they're only sleeping 5 or 6 hours a night, their body will fight them at every turn. Sleep is a non-negotiable foundation that most health advice overlooked. Then there's the mental aspect. Stress, mindset, and consistency are huge players in health outcomes. Millions of people were told to just be disciplined or push harder, ignoring the psychological and neurological factors that govern habit formation. Chronic stress literally changes your brain chemistry. It increases cortisol, alters appetite, and even affects fat distribution, often leading to stubborn belly fat despite dieting. The missing link: mental resilience, stress management, and supporting the nervous system with routines that actually reduce tension, not add to it. The pattern becomes clear. Most health advice failed millions because it focused on quick fixes and isolated solutions, ignoring the body as a complex, interconnected system. Calories alone don't tell the story. Cutting carbs or fat alone doesn't tell the story. Supplements, workouts, or detoxes alone don't tell the story. True success comes when all these pieces: nutrition, sleep, stress, hormones, movement work in harmony. In fact, modern research is showing that small, consistent, biologically aligned changes outperform extreme measures every time. Things like prioritizing protein and fiber at every meal, getting morning sunlight for circadian rhythm, scheduling movement around natural energy peaks, and focusing on stress reduction techniques like breathing, meditation, or walking create compounding effects. Over weeks and months, these practices can completely reverse the damage done by decades of following ineffective health advice. By now, it's clear why so many people failed despite following proven advice. But here's the good news. You can turn it all around by working with your body, not against it. Let's break down the science-backed practical strategies that actually deliver results and why millions before you missed them. First, let's talk nutrition differently. Forget extreme diets and strict rules. Instead, focus on nutrient timing and quality. Protein at every meal stabilizes blood sugar, keeps your metabolism active, and supports muscle retention. Fiber-rich foods like vegetables, legumes, and whole grains not only feed your gut bacteria, but also keep you full longer. Healthy fats from olive oil, nuts, seeds, and fatty fish support hormone production, including thyroid and testosterone, which are critical for energy and fat burning. Millions ignored this balance and instead eliminated fats or carbs, triggering metabolic sabotage. The takeaway: eat real, minimally processed foods in a way that fuels your body and balances hormones naturally. Second, movement is not just exercise, it's strategic energy alignment. Instead of punishing workouts or hours in the gym, focus on movement that matches your body's natural rhythms. Short bursts of high-intensity effort, like walking or cycling in the morning, paired with light resistance work later in the day, can optimize metabolism and stimulate fat burning without stressing your adrenal system. Millions tried excessive cardio or extreme lifting routines, thinking more is better, but their cortisol skyrocketed, actually promoting fat storage instead of fat loss. Third, sleep and recovery. If you're not sleeping properly, everything else fails. Studies show that even mild sleep deprivation reduces leptin, raises ghrelin, and impairs insulin sensitivity. In plain English, you get hungrier, crave sugar, and store more fat even if you're eating perfectly during the day. Aim for consistent bedtimes, dim lights before sleep, and a routine that signals your body it's time to rest. Millions were told to just sleep when you can or ignored sleep entirely, undermining all their other efforts. Fourth, stress management is non-negotiable. Chronic stress doesn't just affect your mood. It drives fat storage, slows recovery, and suppresses your metabolism. Techniques like mindfulness, deep breathing, short meditation breaks, and even outdoor walks can reduce cortisol naturally. Millions failed because they were told to push through stress or be disciplined, ignoring how the body responds to mental strain. Managing stress isn't optional, it's foundational. Fifth, hormonal balance matters more than willpower. Your thyroid, cortisol, insulin, and sex hormones all regulate fat storage, appetite, and energy. If you follow generic advice without considering your hormones, your efforts are like swimming upstream. The right approach: support these systems with nutrition, proper sleep, stress control, and strategic movement. Small interventions like morning sunlight exposure, adequate magnesium, and balanced protein intake can dramatically influence hormonal health. Finally, consistency and habit design beat intensity. Millions chased short-term results with extreme measures, detoxes, liquid diets, or 10-day challenges only to regain everything, plus more. Sustainable change comes from creating tiny, repeatable actions that compound over weeks and months. A morning walk, a protein-rich breakfast, an early bedtime, and mindful stress breaks become powerful forces over time. When done consistently, the body naturally adjusts, metabolism revs, hormones stabilize, and energy soars. Here's the truth that mainstream advice missed. Health is not about punishing yourself. It's about aligning with your biology. Eat smart, move strategically, sleep consistently, manage stress, and respect your hormonal signals. Millions failed before you because they ignored this, thinking extreme action was the shortcut. There is no shortcut, there's only alignment, consistency, and understanding how the body really works. When you start following advice like this, everything changes. Fat loss becomes easier, energy increases, cravings reduce, and overall health improves. You stop chasing trends, and your body finally starts responding the way it was designed to. Millions have failed by trying to fight biology, but now you know how to work with it instead of against it. So, let's bring it all together. The truth is simple, yet so many have missed it. Your body is not your enemy. It's your most powerful attribute, only if you understand how it truly works. Millions followed generic advice, extreme diets, or the latest fads, and paid the price with frustration, fatigue, and wasted years. But now you see why that happened, and more importantly, how to avoid the same mistakes. It's not about punishing yourself, counting calories obsessively, or hopping from one miracle solution to another. It's about aligning your nutrition, movement, sleep, stress management, and hormonal health with your body's natural needs. This is the blueprint that actually works, backed by science, not hype. Start with small, actionable changes. Prioritize protein and fiber. Move in ways that energize you. Get consistent, quality sleep. Manage stress intentionally, and respect your body's hormonal signals. Make these habits non-negotiable. These aren't temporary hacks, they're lifelong strategies that compound into real, lasting results. And here's the most important part: consistency beats intensity every single time. Millions failed because they chased extremes. You don't need extremes. You need persistence, patience, and the willingness to work with your biology. Over time, these small changes add up. Metabolism improves, energy surges, cravings diminish, and health becomes effortless. Remember, the failed advice of the past wasn't your fault. It was built on incomplete science and oversimplified trends. Now, armed with the right knowledge, you can finally break free from the cycle of frustration and start seeing real results. Your body is capable of amazing things when given what it truly needs. Now you know exactly what that is. Take action today. Respect your body. Align with its natural rhythms. And watch as your health transforms, not in a week, not in a fad, but for life. This is your chance to succeed where millions before you failed.